1068. Author Tony Whelan joins me in studio. Hello, Tony. How are you?
Excellent, Lindsay. Pleasure to be here.
And to have you here, you've written this cracking book, Laura's Legacy. Tell me all about it and how you came to start writing it.
Well, how I came to start writing it, I suppose I was always a great reader as a child and teenager, so probably all my life I had this idea, God, it'd be so cool to write a book, but never really had it as a serious idea, because I suppose I had this idea in my head that, authors are, a very special type of person, very different from everyone else. But a number of years ago, I just needed something to focus on and something to motivate me. And I remember to this day, I was driving along the M50 back when the toll bridge was on it, in the queue that was there every morning. And
Don't remind me of it.
It's a great drive down this morning now that it's gone. But
isn't the difference amazing?
Oh, incredible. Oh. Absolutely incredible. So I was thinking to myself, what am I going to do? And just the idea came into my head, don't know from where. I'll write that book that I kind of dreamed about, and it's probably impossible. But amazingly, over the next few days, I don't know where the story came from, but over the space of a few days, I wrote the outline of the story. And then over the following couple of years, sat down and wrote the book.
Fantastic. As simple as that.
As simple as that, it really is. And it amazes me to this day when I look at this book and go, my God, I wrote this. But, I would say to anybody out there, because even in talking to people over the last while since I launched the book, so many people say to me, God, I've always wanted to write a book. Sit down and start typing or writing, whichever way you want to do it. Yeah. But, it really is, it's a bit of a magical process. As I said, the outline of the story came to me, I'm not sure from where. And as I started to write the book itself, then as you get into it, it's a strange kind of a experience, because once you get into it, it's almost like you're being dictated to. Like the characters are telling you the story, which probably sounds a bit off the wall. But
it doesn't. I mean, I've interviewed many authors, and they say, well, the character nearly writes the book themselves. You're just the tool for doing it,
Yeah, the conduit. Yeah.
Maybe that's a better word than what I used.
It's all right. I've been called worse, Lindsay. It's okay.
No, nothing like that at all. So tell me about the story. Laura's Legacy is the name of the book. What is it about Laura?
There's two elements to this novel, really. On one level, it's a thriller. Hopefully people will find it to be a very fast-paced, exciting, very much an international thriller. This girl is trying to, I suppose you would say, fulfill a mission, a deathbed request from a loved one. And this mission at first seems to be a bit strange, but relatively straightforward. But as she travels to try and fulfill this request, it quickly becomes apparent that there are some very powerful and some very deadly forces at work trying to stop her from what she's doing. The problem for her is she doesn't even know why they're trying to. She doesn't understand the consequences that are going to be arrived at the end of this mission. So she travels around the world. She's in Thailand, she's in Australia, she's in Brazil, different places. And on that level, as I say, hopefully people will just get the entertainment that I think people should get from a good book. But on a second level, as she travels around the world, she meets various people, and she has conversations with them, and she has discussions with them about herself, about her role in the world. She's trying to figure out, I suppose the big questions that we all need to stop and maybe reflect on a little bit at times, in terms of, what is her life about? Why is she here? How can she have, a happy life? Because in the beginning of the book, she's very much a carefree, young American girl backpacking around the world, but she does feel a little bit disconnected. And again, I think in modern society, certainly, I think that's quite a common feeling for people to have. So she's trying to get to an understanding of where that's coming from and what she can do about it. Okay,
so I mean, when she's travelling around the world, is she on her own?
Some of the time she's on her own, and some of the time she has people with her, yes.
Right, okay. It sounds like a real mystery thriller type of book that you've written here. It's one of three, though, is it?
It's the first of a trilogy. There's two reasons for that, Lindsay. One is that when I sat down to write the book, initially it was just going to be a single book, but as I came towards probably 2/3 of the way through it, I realised there was going to be more to this story, more Laura has more things to do, and she certainly has more to learn about herself and about the world around her and how she fits into it, which hopefully would be kind of valuable for us all. The second reason it's a trilogy is the book, as you said, is called Laura's Legacy. Laura is the name of my middle daughter. And I can tell you now, Lindsay, when you have 3 children and you write a book and name it after one of them, you're going to write 2 more. And the second book in the trilogy is called Amy's Amazon, after my eldest daughter, and the third is Robbie's Revolution, after my son.
Well, I'd say the 3 of them are delighted, are they?
I think half delighted and half embarrassed at the thought of their father going and doing things like this, but it's a cracking idea, and I know if somebody had written a book and called it Lindsay something, I would be, oh, that's good. Even though it's probably just the name in it, but I'd think it was pretty hot and on the spot, but then young people mightn't think that way at all. Well, I think sometimes they're just more embarrassed by it, but, our kids obviously are hugely important to us. They're three great people, so it's an honour for me to be able to do something kind of that acknowledges them and registers their presence in the world.
Good stuff. Published by Choice Publishing.
It's Choice Publishing are a company in Drogheda who helped me out with the publishing. As I'm sure you know, Lindsay, having such an interest in books, it's a tough old business out there trying to get published. And when I had the manuscript ready, I did the usual thing of sending it out to agents. The couple of people who had read it for me had said, this is a good bit of work you've done here. So I sent it out to agents and sat back waiting for the phone to ring and the offers to roll in, which didn't happen. Some of the agents wrote back very nice letters saying that it was an excellent book, but it wasn't quite the genre they would do, or they had enough authors on their books already or whatever. So effectively it's self-published. As I say, Choice and Drogheda were great. They helped me out with the kind of the regulatory, the legal aspects and registering it with libraries and stuff like that and getting ISBN numbers and all the technical ends of it. But it is in essence a self-published, self-financed, independently distributed novel. So people tell me I'm crazy, but you have to be doing something.
Wish you